gonna call the meeting to order. Calling the meeting to order. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the minutes from January?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Great. Now we have topics from the floor. So anyone who's not already on the agenda that wants to speak? Anyone? No? Really?
Patrick's quiet?
No.
Sorry.
What is that supposed to mean?
Sorry.
He must be on the
Let's move
agenda.
on quickly now.
We're flying on through. Next up is counselor's report.
Could I request that I be moved down beyond 5 between
Yeah.
new business and old business, prior to old business?
Definitely. Let's
Thank you.
start with new business, Bee Association. Jerry.
I want to make a motion that our city council contact Linda Zoll and/or the Columbia County Beekeepers Association to develop maybe a three-part plan for bee habitat at the St. Helens Botanical Garden.
Do you have the three-part plan?
No.
Or you want them to come
I want
up
them,
with?
I want them to, I want our city council to ask Linda Zoll and the Columbia County Beekeepers to propose a three-part plan. And then that plan be forwarded to us, for review and approval.
Okay. Anyone have thoughts on that? Want to discuss it all? Anyone
That
want
could
to?
be habitat,
Yeah.
right, enough flowers?
Yeah, because last time,
That goes off of our last meeting.
Well, I'd like to know what the
Talked about,
plan
yeah.
is, though.
But you're saying you want the city council to tell them to come up with a plan to present to us?
Like
Shouldn't it go to the other way?
Botanical garden.
I don't know.
Yeah, Air Home
Shouldn't-
area.
Shouldn't we get a plan recommendation from her and then
And then
send
we-
it to the city council for
Yeah.
recommendation?
but do we have the power to ask Linda Zoll for it? Or should the city council ask her for the
We
plan?
could ask her for it. She can come present it to us.
Tell you what, encourage her to step forward and come to city council, and then we will know what this is all about. And if you want that to move forward, did she already present it to you folks, right?
No.
Not
No,
a
no.
plan.
Last time here's what I said last time. It says, I said that with the Botanical Gardens, which is the least used park in the city, would like the organization to look at it and come up with some recommendations that would, what they would like to do with it to improve bee habitat. So what I would like for them to do, the Columbia County Beekeepers, is to develop a plan, maybe 2 or 3 parts, in stages, because they say they want to develop bee habitat, and I think that's that would be a good place to start. And my thinking was that we asked the city council to ask the beekeepers to come up with that plan, and then that plan come to us, we review it, if we like it, dislike it. But Doug's saying that he thinks that we should contact Linda Zoll and the Columbia County Beekeepers Association.
Or have Linda come to the council, present with her proposal, so that the council already knows what it is. But if there's a proposal that needs to be built, I would suggest Linda and the beekeepers do that. But I don't know if it's really up to the city council to contact Linda and to ask her to come up with something like that.
Yeah.
If she came forward to the council, then I think as a matter of process, then the council could react and say, ooh, this sounds like a really good thing, can you run that by the Parks Commission?
She said she wanted to do it, and the beekeepers wanted to do it. My thinking was that if it came from the city council, it would carry a little more weight than if it came from us. If the city council asked her and the beekeepers to come up with a plan, there might be a greater, oh yeah, the city council's really interested in us doing that.
So if she shows up at city council and gives a kind of a primary kind of application of what she wants to do, just kind of like, this is kind of the concept of the plan, then I know the council's going to say to her that, get this to us, and they'll say, run it by the Parks Commission once you have it, and have them make a recommendation to us. I know that.
So Doug, would it be
So-
better if you just made the plan, brought it to us, and we recommend it to you guys?
Yeah, that's kind of what now, the more I think about it, maybe that's what Doug wants us to do. So we have the power, or the authority, maybe I should say,
Make a recommendation.
to contact her to do that.
Yes.
So then we should make a proposal then that, someone can do the proposal that if they would like, that, we contact her, that the Parks Commission contact Linda Zoll and the Columbia County. Okay, so I'll make a proposal then. I'll
Okay,
redo it.
you have her number,
No, but I'm sure,
email?
I think the organization, you might not be able to contact her directly, but I think if you contact the organization online, because I'm sure they have a
'Cause
website.
you could send an email to the organization saying, hey, put this plan together, bring it to the next Parks meeting, and discuss it with us, and we can recommend it, or,
Just one quick question, are apiaries allowed in the city?
well, but I don't know, John, but she doesn't necessarily, there's like,
I don't think
They
it's.
brought that up
they
in
brought that up.
in last meeting, that
But they have,
was it
they've
the
asked
state-
city council about it.
So there's like 200 different species of wild bees, I think they said. And so what they want to do.
Talking all wild bees then?
Different species of wild bees. And so what they're trying to do is increase the number of wild bee species. And I don't think.
More habitat for.
More habitat. I don't think that's
I
gonna be.
think they were trying to like
detrimental.
plant plants and stuff to kind of lure them in.
Yes, exactly.
Because she had a whole list of plants that were good for
Yeah.
bees and stuff.
And they were
she had a
cool.
whole presentation, so I don't think it will take them a lot to come up with a proposal.
Okay, then,
with a focus.
I haven't thought about this that much, but then I make a proposal that the Parks Commission contact Linda Zoll and the Columbia County beekeepers to develop a plan, I'll just leave it general, a plan to enhance bee habitat at the St. Helens Columbia Botanical Gardens.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
You
Perfect.
should assign somebody like Jerry to go talk to her.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I don't even really think we need to propose to
Yeah, I don't.
contact
I'll
her.
contact her.
Vote on it.
We just contact her, tell her she can come up with a plan and
Right.
give us a little notice and get on the agenda and we'll spend
We'd love to talk a
a
little
session
about
talking about it.
Perfect.
And we think
And
the
if they
city
have-
council would be receptive to it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, they need to hear what's going on. I'll give them on our next council meeting a heads up of what you've been chatting about this, so that they'll know it's on the radar.
All right, next up is the Parks Report for McCormick.
So McCormick Park, they have the new memorial in there. It's nice. It looks really nice. Dad, you guys did a great job with that.
Public Works did most of it.
Okay, Public Works, whoever did it, did a great job. It looks phenomenal. And the park's being used a lot now. Every day I drive through there, kids are on the skate park all the time. Speaking of skate park, the graffiti. There's graffiti all over it now. Remember when the lady came and presented it to us? She said that usually when they have like street art on there that no one else graffitis it. Yeah.
Urban art.
Once they put that art up, all the other taggers took their opportunity to mark their territory.
One of those BMX
What
riders.
do we do anything about it? Like, what do we?
I don't know what we could do about it. When you see somebody doing it,
Camera.
yeah, that'll end up missing.
As long as it's not offensive.
Aye.
Well, it's not offensive, it's just, it's an eyesore now.
Yeah. Is it dangerous because it's slicker than other parts?
No, it's not dangerous or not, it's just an eyesore. But other than that, the softball fields are underwater.
Yeah.
BMX tracks growing grass. But the park down below is being used quite a bit. The disc golf course is being used a lot. So, and the dog park's always being used a lot. So other than that, there's nothing really new with McCormick.
And the trails are being used a lot.
Yeah, and the trails are being
Lots of
used a lot.
walkers, lots of people. We're having, of course, we've had the weather for it, basically, for people to come out, and it has been rather busy. You said the ball fields are underwater, Sue, you wanna tell them about that?
Oh, I guess, if you don't want to.
You're the-
I didn't bring the paperwork down with me, but we met with, an interested person who had proposed to us putting in drainage in the infields of the ball fields and then potentially being able to do artificial turf on the infields of the two ball fields.
That would be huge.
And yeah, he estimated that cost to be for the drainage and to do one field at about $65,000, if I recall. We obviously don't have that much money, but there is money identified in the Parks Master Plan and then potentially also for SDC's system development charge money that could potentially be applied towards that. It could help if there was maybe material donations or some other things like that as well to help.
Would you like me to
As
talk
far
to
as-
softball and see if they want to donate?
Yeah, absolutely.
How about the high school? The school district? So they would have
They don't use it for me.
We could.
I understand that, but where a varsity game that has to be played, or we have a place they could do it, is what
Yeah.
maybe they'd want to contribute to that.
We also discussed the fact of just putting the drainage in first to see how well that works.
Right.
Because, and if that wicks out the field good enough, they'll be able to play a lot more games than they do now. And then if we do have the funding, we can put an artificial infield in. But you'd still be out there in the muck and the
You played on
outfield.
that infield?
Oh, yeah, I played on that
All
infield.
the rocks and
Yeah,
gravel?
all the rocks, and we can thank someone for doing that for us, bringing in dirt that shouldn't have been brought in.
Yeah, I know that
I won't go there. But anyhow, this is a good step towards creating better playing fields and maybe bringing in more tournaments. Well, he was, I can't remember, Mike is in it? Anyway, he's part of the softball association, so he's in charge of field maintenance.
But maybe talk to him a little bit and
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know if he has the opportunity to come and talk to you guys and to know a little bit about what he proposed to do and,
I'll get ahold of
but,
Rob.
yeah.
One question I have is, when he approached either or both of you at the same time, I
Yeah,
would imagine. One question I had, who's going to do the engineering, who's going to do the design, and then will you be sending 3 bids out to get that work done, rather than saying, okay, you've got it, whatever?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we would have to put together, he had a kind of a proposed layout of how to do the drainage. It's not something that's my expertise, but we could probably do up some sort of a little schematic. But yeah, it would have to go out for bids.
Okay, and could the engineering be in-house?
Yeah, it wouldn't really be stamped engineering, but we could probably do some sort
Okay.
of drawing, enough that a contractor would be able to look at it and hopefully get a concept of what needed to be done.
Is it possible the turf company has expertise, they might lend to that project?
Maybe for the turf portion of it, but I'm not sure for the drainage portion of it, because there would
They
be.
put in the football field at high school,
Mhm.
that they redid all the drainage
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
that. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it was a turf company that engineered or how it was done.
I'm not sure.
If I was a turf company and I was gonna put turf somewhere, I would have made certain that that is very much engineered to the standards that I would like.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have to replace it in 2 years.
Yeah.
And,
That's a
you
good
know,
point.
They may have standard blueprints
yeah.
for conducting that, or just a thought.
Right, no, that's a good suggestion.
McCormick?
That's the number one.
Any updates on the play equipment? I know you were looking, trying
Well-
to get information.
Yeah, we have updates. Okay, the play equipment is affordable at $73,000, right?
Uh-huh,
Found people to install it.
okay.
The fall protection is $80,000+, just for the fall protection. So, to go, and then we get the installer, so we're looking at pretty close to $200,000 by the time we're done. And so we're gonna have to see if we can dig that deep or not.
Yeah.
You know, that's the big one right there.
Were we budgeting for Campbell and McCormick?
It's McCormick,
McCormick, okay,
just McCormick.
got it.
Jerry's got 200 grand he'll give us.
Problem.
We just need another 100. We only need
No
a,
Well,
problem.
we only need another 100,
Right.
we got 100. So, yeah, that was kind of sticker shock when I started pricing the fall protection. It would be somewhat cheaper to go with chips, but then you're always constantly replacing the chips. They're getting scattered all over everywhere. And what they have now is the pads that they have now have lasted 20 years, and they're still in good shape. So if we went that way, then we're pretty much guaranteed that that's gonna stay in good shape like that, so.
I don't know if you guys would be interested in looking at like the same type, but a smaller footprint.
That's what I was thinking. I just think this is the exact same thing.
Yeah. And then, I don't know if you could expand it later, because they probably change.
Sure.
Change the style.
Is that kind of what you're thinking, Sue?
Yeah, maybe look at a smaller footprint.
Would that make
That
the
was a-
equipment
that was a large-
smaller?
It was big.
It was large, it was 70, they used 70 by 65 or 60, 70 by 70 feet. The one we have now is basically 50 by 50. And that's a small one, actually, 50 by 50. I think that's not a real big one.
It seems
The
like,
space was the extra, remember they had the climbing thing?
About half the size of the
Side.
nine.
it seems like it would be better to go big,
Yes, it would.
you know, the first time, cause in a few years, cause it's gonna last a long time, yeah. So to make the investment now rather than cut it short, but it's a lot. So what's the next step? Are you guys just, is it like,
We gotta make sure we can do the money.
yeah,
Can't go ordering this stuff and then not be able to put it in.
okay. Is there anything you guys need from us?
Yeah, $1.
$100,000.
Got two? John's rich. Just got back from vacation.
Well, there's $3 right there, there's a start.
When I win the lottery, I'll remember.
Hey, anything helps.
Okay.
Start a GoFundMe page.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Anything else for McCormick?
No, nothing else from McCormick.
So we'll go on to old business. Oh, just kidding. We're gonna do the counselor's report.
Okay, thank you, and thanks for that leeway, appreciate it.
Yeah.
One of the things that the council, if you want to hear what was kind of on the council's table, if that can be part of my report, it might have some things to do with the parks, especially in terms of setting a precedent for design and whatever. But the council set aside monies, and we looked at a new intersection on St. Helens and First Street. So that's unbelievably a wonderful, wonderful study and a great plan at this point. It looked like the council adopted the plan, and along with that, it solves quite a few problems. One, a banner that goes across the street on the backside of that intersection. Benches on all, I think on two corners.
All four.
All four, landscaping. I mean, this is really going to be a really nice gateway for our riverfront district. It's gonna set a precedent for that. It might set some kind of precedent. There's wayfinding on the signs. I mean, it's basalt oriented in terms of the benches. Everything looks spectacular. So the council spent quite a bit of time on that. We set aside money for the study, and the study and the plan is complete. And you'll see a whole new facelift to our town for that intersection. And I know what you're gonna ask, is it going to be a roundabout?
No, I was gonna ask that,
There wasn't-
but I will pose that
Or a
question too.
roundabout.
St. Helens the one right out here by the movie theater?
Yeah,
Pardon me?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking St. Helens
We're
runs up
trying to
the
think of St.
highway. I'm
Helens, and
like,
he's,
wait,
yeah,
does he mean Columbia?
because that's Columbia and First otherwise, and then it's St. Helens that runs from the courthouse up.
Yes, St. Helens and First.
Right by Wild Card.
And then it becomes, then
Yeah.
somewhere
Fourth.
becomes Old
oh,
Portland Road.
Portland Road.
Yes.
That Fourth Street.
And
So
then St.
that's-
Helens pops
Skip.
back up by the Red Apple and goes towards the highway.
That's exciting. If you
Straight,
Well,
that's
that's-
if you cross that crosswalk there, you can take a look, you enter down the street and you can see all the way down into Riverfront District.
Oh, wow.
And line of sight, almost all the way to the slough. So it's, to me, it's exciting. It's a good place for a gateway to the Riverfront District. And the big thing is, it's going to be safe. We have bulb outs on all four corners. And again, with that, planters, benches,
Lighting.
it's spectacular.
New lighting.
So I wish I could have brought the design. Matter of fact, I might, if I can get up after my report, I might go get that, because it's that exciting.
And this is the same people that developed Kenton, the Kenton district.
I do believe so.
Canton District in North Portland?
Yeah, they were the ones that,
Kittleson.
that's, yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter lives there in Kenton, and I go there quite frequently, and it's very, very nice. And
And we had, they did a phenomenal transportation study. We were talking about four-way stop, and that was a discussion that several of us on the council almost demanded that it be a four-way stop. And we just thought it'd be safer, and they said didn't warrant it, through all their studies and whatever. So what we compromised on is that they'll put in what's the term?
It's called a V-lock. It's just a little thing in the concrete, so you can put a pole in it someday.
Right, so when we have festivals and that kind of thing, and we do need a four-way stop, then we have the capability of just going out and putting in a couple more stop signs. So we thought that was a pretty good compromise, and it can be studied that way as well. So that was exciting. That's very exciting for facelift on our Riverfront District and our Historic District as well. So very excited about
so
that.
Doug, what's the status of the boardwalk?
It's non-existent right now until we get because the developer has somewhat, we feel that that developer has waffled a bit on coming forward, and so we had a discussion of sending out new qualifications for proposals for that area by different developers and builders around the nation, around the world, to see who is interested in developing that. Now, what's going to happen, I think, in between time before that, I believe Tokelo will come back to us and say, hey, hold it, we're ready to, but, we talked about all of that stuff. Can we do that? We said, no, if Tokelo wants to come back and submit their proposal again, well, so be it. We'll have to look at it and see who comes in with what kind of proposal.
But then again, there's the money to pay for that.
Well, yes and no. There's urban renewal money that will help for the infrastructure, but the developer's going to pretty much pay the entire cost of that. And with the boardwalk, we'll have to go in with some kind of grant, or we'll have to figure a way to do that with the developer and with the city. So I hope, that's all, it's all up in the air right now. Okay, so I probably said too much, but that's where it's at. Answer your question by chance?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. I just want to say that about the parks and trails. So excited about what your work is and what your vision is and your passion for developing trails and pathways through the city. I'm so excited about that. Case in point is the Wyeth Street Stairs. If you haven't been down to the Gray Cliff Waterfront Park, venture on down there and check out the new stairway system. It's wonderful. I know that that's probably been reported on prior to today, and you probably all knew about it. But that's one of the catalysts and one of the key things is that came from you folks. You folks did that. You made that happen. And if you weren't talking about the trails, it would have never happened. But you made it happen, and that's really important. And that's what I'm so proud of this commission for, of making things happen that way. Very, very much appreciated. And I look forward to more good work with our trails and with connectivity of what we can do with our city in terms of connecting trails. Many of them don't have to be totally complete. They can be segmented in time in terms of phases. So I just wanted to say that about how wonderful that is down there to see that and see it as a safe passage.
I've been noticing more people walking on our trails all the time now.
Pardon me?
I said there's just more people walking on
Yeah.
trails. Just
The kiosks
so
are-
many more in the last couple of
The
years.
kiosks and what you folks talked about in terms of mapping the trails out, having that on a kiosk, letting our citizens know what's there and what could be proposed. I like the idea of putting the trail system in there and say proposed. I don't mind that. I think that would be great. It would create more enthusiasm for developing future trails. It's great. You keep talking about it, it's going to happen, I think.
Do you think we'll be able to get more budget? I feel like we've been kind of limited by budget and resources in that sense, as far as doing some of the trail work that we want to see happen. Like the urban trail stuff that we did is kind of at a standstill because it's not in the master plan right now. It's not like officially there and budgeted for.
One of the things is if you start talking about it, guess what? You start to start to maybe draw up some plans or preliminary plans. You're eligible for grants. And that's the I think that's the big fundraiser for trails, parks as well, are the grants that are available through the state parks. So there's many different avenues of where grants come from, but state parks is a big one.
And having it in the master plan would be the key to.
Exactly.
So that's why most of the grants that we have received have been ones that have been identified as higher priorities in the master plan.
So you know how easy it is to change the master plan. All you guys have to do is talk about it, vote on it, and request the council to implement. This is the body that does that.
Because I was gonna say, talking about new trails, I was gonna mention this at some point. They've started working on the new Fifth Street Trail. They've got it etched in a little bit. They had a meeting the other day to talk about how to go through the wetlands, about 110 to 130 feet or so, depending upon how they want to do that. But the youth corps is working away on that. And that also could be something for us to modify our little plan, would be to have the trail go on that and then come up the staircase onto Wallington and go out of my neighborhood that way. It could keep you in a park setting more than walking the streets, so we'll have to discuss that eventually too.
Yeah,
But
that
it
would
is
be a good thing.
Very
for us
amazing
to-
what is going on with the Columbia River Youth Corps, is that the name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One follow-up, about the Parks Commission is you've made it, in my sense, and my perspective, you've made a tremendous impact on the staff. And the staff goes forward of getting involved and has a passion to help develop McCormick Park, the Memorial Plaza for the veterans. Unbelievable. And, and by the way, there are plans now to put 6 or 7 flags of each branch of service up with a pennant on top, very much like the Columbia City Veterans Memorial down there. That's kind of a phase 2. And very excited about it. It's created so much enthusiasm. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Next is old business, Park Commission applicant, Walter Fowler. So we had talked to him last time, and I think we were gonna vote on it this time. Does anyone have follow-up questions for Walter before we vote? No? Okay, how do we do this voting thing?
You always vote to make a recommendation of the council if you want them appointed to the commission.
I'll make a motion to recommend him to council for the appointment for the Parks Commission.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
That's
Those opposed? Perfect. It's easy. So I believe how it works is it will go on the agenda for the next city council meeting, right? And then they'll officially approve, and then you'll send a notification to him?
Kathy will send them a packet.
Okay.
Was
You'll
there
get
any,
the
was
official-
there any other latecomers for applications by chance?
No.
Thank you.
I had inquired and I didn't get an application in time because I was out of town for the last meeting, but I really wanted to apply. That's why I was here today.
I guess the only thing I
We
can,
might have another.
how many
opening
open?
anyway.
Yeah,
And
we have
I
another open
have
spot
two
too,
open
didn't
and chatted with you about attending as well, but I'd spoken with Jerry a long time ago, but I just didn't get good direction on where I could get an application and get it in time, and I happened to miss the last meeting because I was out of town specifically that afternoon. So I was participating in some stuff last year. If you guys remember me from the Columbia Botanical Gardens meeting that we were talking about, but
We do have another opening, so if you
No,
want to go.
we don't.
We don't? I thought we had
No,
nine.
you don't.
I thought we had 9.
You have 9 spots and you have 8 people right now.
I'd like to hear why you didn't apply specifically, because if the Park Commission has already voted, so I'd like to know what happened.
yeah, I didn't have access to, I was trying to gain information on how to apply, and I didn't get the right direction. I was told to come to a meeting, and I specifically couldn't go to that meeting.
That's interesting, because the last meeting we had was last year at some time, and quite some time has gone by. I'm not sure how you guys are gonna rule on this, but certainly,
We had
Yeah, we
oh, we did have one, that's right.
I couldn't,
The only thing my thought would be that we already voted on it and we already, talked with him about it and had an applicant and kind of reviewed it. And I would think that maybe we could get your contact information, and then if we have another opening, we would reach out. But I don't know what you guys all think about how to proceed.
No, I think that's right. I think that's right. what you
Yeah.
said.
The applications are on the city website,
okay,
and they put out press releases and whatnot when there are openings on boards and commissions.
okay. Yeah, I've been a little bit busy, like, putting together my business and been kind of wrapped up in that, and so it's just, I didn't have access to, or no direction where to go. I wouldn't know where it was, but appreciate your input.
Yeah, you can find our contact information, like all of our contact information online too, if you just look at the site for the Parks Commission. And so feel free to reach out with your contact info, and then we can kind of,
Yeah, that's what I had done, but I don't know how. I was just told to come to the meeting, and when I told them that I couldn't make it to the meeting, they told me to come to the next one, so that's what I'm sure that.
sorry. Okay, next on the agenda is Dalton Lake Nature Preserve.
I guess that's
That's
it.
you, I think, because Lynn is out.
I'll hand some of these out. I can just pass these around, so. Everybody knows that Lynn, obviously, that Lynn's not here. She's been quite the champion on this project. I'm pretty certain that she's not gonna give up until there's none out there, so, which that's good.
She's been moving fast.
Yeah,
She has been.
So I'll do my best to kind of try to keep everybody in on sort of where we're at. Patrick, you can help out, chime in if you have a little more information than I do. But basically, I don't know, what the last time I think we talked about the kiosks, because she'd already brought it up before, and I think we'd talked about Youngberg building some kiosks or something like that and getting some material donated. So things kind of changed since then, because she reached out to Casey over at Columbia County, and basically, they've been working on some interpretive signage and historical signage kiosk along the CZ Trail. I don't know if you guys have seen those or had a chance to see them. But they look pretty nice, and he's also, I guess, Columbia County Tourism Committee is working on a grant application to put on a tourism studio. And Rutherford Parkway is in their trail inventory list. So his thought was, it'd be nice to kind of sort of keep things looking the same countywide with some of these trails, because they're looking at going throughout all the different communities and putting together this asset map for the entire county. And Rutherford obviously would be included in that. So you've got what I printed out, that came from Casey, kind of a rough cost of what those kiosks would be. And then there's some like signage. I don't think I printed that part of it out, but there's some like stainless steel signs that go on each one of those kiosks with like
this one.
Information or whatever, and you can kind of arrange it, and that's details that we haven't figured out at this point. It's will be figured out later, so that's kind of where we're at, and I think what we're wanting to get is just kind of go ahead with from the Park Commission to continue moving forward with this process, and then I know that she said that Chip and Deborah were going to make a formal proposal to the city council.
Okay.
Pending the approval of this committee and I think the planning commission as well. So
do we want to do?
unless Patrick's got some more to add to it.
I just think that as far as what the county involvement, the idea was to have tried and true. Their materials seem to be working on the CZ Trail, so instead of us having to create something from scratch, using that sort of thing, and then providing a consistency in the greater area. And then as I think I recall then that basically the Friends or the city would have to come up with the material, but that looking closely there, that the county is able to provide labor for the installation. So,
Get some material donated already?
what's that?
The county? Yeah.
They would match up to $5,000 with labor.
So, yeah, I mean, so that sound like, I mean, aware of that, yeah, that they're willing to provide labor
Yeah.
for installation if, of course, happens, you know.
What did she do with Dawn? Didn't
She
Well,
got
also-
donated, she said
Yes.
they would donate materials, but
Yes.
did she actually
So-
get the
so-
materials?
She got materials donated from Dahlgren's based on the old, we were gonna kind of do a kiosk, sort of like what's down at the, but then, as we reached out to the county, or she reached out to talk with Columbia County, and that's when they brought this whole thing up. Hey, we've got these kiosks, they've already been developed, designed, they're fairly simple, they're easy to build. So there is materials in there that we can get donated probably from Dahlgren's. So then it's a matter of going back with a new material list, because the old material list, obviously, it's not the same, so.
Well, they already delivered the material to Mr. Youngberg.
Oh, they did?
Oh, they did.
Okay, well,
Dahlgren's has?
that's news to me.
Well, that'll be Lynn, yeah, I don't know.
They did it in December. They left it there when they were not home, including a pallet of concrete, sat out in the rain for multiple days and is now unusable. No,
Might be
it's
a
not.
movable
It's not really hard bags.
Unusable and immovable.
First I had
Beyond our-
Yeah, that's what she reported a couple meetings ago.
well, no, yes, she'd reported that she had reached out to them to donate, but I didn't know that they went ahead and just did it.
Yeah, they already delivered the material.
Okay,
well.
I don't think we, I'll have
I
to.
wonder if
move
Liz knew
back,
that
yeah.
too, because I talked to her a little bit about this and she didn't mention that happening. So should we hold off on making a motion to go with the new signage until we know the status
Yeah,
of
it sounds like we're gonna.
that?
Yeah.
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 So can we have that back on the agenda next time? Thank you. I do like the idea, though, of having consistent signage across the county in all the different areas. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Because actually, we really like having one with a little shelter over the top of it, keeps your materials dry, and this one is like totally open, so it'd have to be a metal signs and stuff.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
what they are, they're stainless steel, they're getting them from Pacific Stainless and, anyways, so.
So we'll talk about it more next time. Any other discussion items?
Yeah, I have a couple things I want to bring up here. First of all, I want to thank Sue, Dave Elder, for the trail. Doug has mentioned. You can actually walk up and down it now relatively safely. My wife is really excited about that, and so am I. One thing I'm going to say here, I don't want this to be taken wrong. It could be. I don't mean it to be the way, but the trail is really nice. However, when the job was done, some of the little details, weren't done quite adequately. Like, some of the limbs need to be trimmed. And then down below where the rocks and everything is, the rocks were just kind of haphazardly, thrown over the edge. So it just kind of needs to be cleaned up a little bit, it'd probably take a crew of a couple people, a couple hours to make that look, decent. It just doesn't look finished, and I don't want to, I'm really glad the trail's there, but it just needs to be finished a little bit. Thad earlier said, I'm taking a jab here, Thad said that the trails are being used a lot down in McCormick Park, so, we need to work on the urban trail, get that done, so more people could come. And I think if we had that urban trail, there would be a lot of people using it.
Can we add that should we add that to the master plan?
That's my next statement.
Oh, perfect.
And my next one is, I think that we should add to the master plan funding for the urban trail.
Can we add that to we don't need to vote to just add it to our running list of ideas, right? Okay, good.
Because I imagine the swimming list is gonna be a
So,
couple months.
Sue,
Yeah.
I'm really glad, Dave Elder and that crew did really a good job, but maybe we could just ask them to go touch that up a little bit.
Yeah, I have no idea if they're done. I know that they've just been working on it intermittently.
Because I thought about going down there and doing it myself,
Last I heard, it wasn't complete.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, that's the last I heard, and I've been gone for a week, so.
But if someone would say, I did leave a message to Dave Elder on his phone, not about this, it's just saying thanks for the job done.
I have a update, I don't know if it goes under discussion or other business, but
This is your new house?
we got the banner.
Oh, the banner.
For Lynn worked with digital graffiti to get it printed, and then her and I donated the money for it, so we have our banner. We have two, because there was a printing issue a little bit with this one, so it's a little splotchy, so it doesn't have grommets, but now we have two, which is cool. So, I think we just need to discuss where we want to keep them for now. If we want each of us to kind of hold on to one version of them, or if we want to keep one here, or how we want to do that so that we can have these available when we want them. Howard had a good idea of, like, at his work parties, having one of those up so people can know where to go to, like, fill out the forms for volunteering. So, thoughts?
But the question is where we're gonna
Where
keep,
do we keep
where we're
them?
gonna keep the two of them.
Seemed like the best place to keep them would be here at the city.
Here.
I would say if that's all.
With that?
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
that's office too.
Well, one of the
Do we
things.
wanna keep both of them there, or do we want
Yeah.
one of us to have one in case there's like a last minute thing?
Yeah, one-
or
one-
we contact
Yeah, one of the things, Carmen,
one of
we were
us?
talking about before the meeting even started, which is probably legal, is was Carmen, Carmen would like for one of us to keep it. I don't want to keep it, but,
Well, it's just an idea to
and
have one
then,
of us have
then the other one left with Thad.
Why not have Carmen keep one?
I can keep one, and then
Yeah,
if anybody
Jackie's
needs
one.
it, yeah, you can reach out. Which,
So,
I think
so
that
should we
sounds
just
perfect.
say that maybe the
The chair keeps
chairman
one,
keeps one,
and
and then if someone, like on a weekend, needs one,
Uh-huh.
and can't get a hold of Thad, then,
Yeah.
yeah, does that sound okay with you, then?
For me,
Okay.
as long as I don't have to.
you become chairman, John.
Then you're responsible.
Cycle through.
I live that long.
Okay. No one else has discussion items?
I've got a few updates,
Other
kind of just about the park. I don't
Okay.
know, does it come there, discussion, or does it come at
Maybe other business?
I'm,
I don't know.
It's all the same.
Whatever.
it's all the same, okay.
Wherever we want it to go.
Okay, just a few quick updates. Just the new trail that they're working on at Nob Hill. They gotta come up with a way to reach the water. There's about a little over 100 feet worth of water that they have to figure out how to go. It's about 6 to 8 inches deep. You know, so it's gonna be really neat down there. A lot of restoration, a lot of blackberries, ivy, trash, tires, vases, some of the largest old growth ivy I've seen in one of our parks yet. Takes a record over what I saw. There's one tree that has probably almost 4 to 5 inch diameter ivy on it.
Any spotted owls?
What?
Any spotted owls?
No spotted owls, you know. The other question I still had, is there a chance still of trying to get a poop and leash sign at the bottom of the steps going up into Nob Hill? A poop and dog leash? And at one point, too, you said that you thought that they,
Okay.
and at one point, too, you thought that the entrance points on the kiosks there's nothing on it by the poop scoop or by the bags that you give out. There really should be a sign that says poop scoop and dogs on leash by each one of those boxes.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You know. So let's see, do we have any update on the restroom? On what's going on with
About
that?
it today, and we haven't, the insurance has come through, but they haven't started doing anything.
Yeah, the city administrator is dealing with it, so he's probably gonna use a contractor that we already have doing some other work on
Okay.
other facilities, but.
It's very well used, it's bugging me.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to run to Graceless is a little hard sometimes. You know, did we ever get any more of an update on the way we were talking about signing the release form for the volunteers and stuff, and having a little ID tag or something? What went on there?
We did
Did
that
that get
last meeting.
finalized?
Did it?
I don't
Or,
know.
no, that's why I thought I'd bring it up once.
Patrick knows, because you were looking for an updated form, right? And they said it was gonna be updated.
Well, I know that Kathy was working on a new form.
Yeah. Okay, so last time.
To have a detached.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what the status is.
Okay, that was the other major one. It was because work season's coming quickly. With the IVI I was just talking about, there's a group of us that love to get in there right away and start
Do
doing
you
it.
wanna reach out to Kathy directly
Payne?
and follow up? Is it Kathy Payne? Yeah.
Okay. And one last, but whatever happened to all our garbage cans in the city?
Actually, there's a philosophy of removing a few of those because they were being abused. And how do you abuse a garbage can? Well, you put about a ton of garbage around it and call it good. And so people were utilizing garbage cans for their own personal trash bins.
Because I've noticed an increase, especially in cigarette butts around the city.
And so case in point, we did take them off of Sand Island at one time. And the island miraculously cleaned itself up. How does that happen? Because when people, a lot of times, especially boaters, would see a trash can, it gave them all the motivation in the world to empty their boat right there, because somebody else would take care of it. So it's a unique philosophy that seemed to work, and we'll keep re-examining. We'll, see how it goes, and we'll go from there.
Because I'll tell you, there's a lot more cigarette butts where they used to be now.
Yeah.
Someone who walks around the city and does nothing but pick up cigarette butts, and we've got 2 or 3 incredible hot spots now of cigarette butts. Like Running Dogs Brewery is #1 for cigarette butts on the sidewalk and street now, which has overtaken the apartments back here on the corner, although there was a lot back there. So, it's a two-edged sword. There's more trash on our streets too, though. So, okay. I guess that's about it for me.
I think that's something to say for the discussion items. I think we should congratulate Sherry for.
Oh, yes.
Employee of the Year.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Are we just about done, or?
Speech.
Thing to say. I just wanted to say one thing, Doug, and I think you're right about the trails, and I think one person we should give a lot of credit to is Jenny Timfield.
Yes.
Because we never talked about trails until she came in with the master plan, and she included that in the master plan, and it got us thinking more about it too. So the initial impetus for doing that, I think, came from her.
Without a doubt.
I'd like to give her credit for it.
Exactly.
Good job for her too, didn't
Exactly.
Part of it.
I think she's really like motivated us too.
Yes.
Too. We've been really motivated, but with her helping us out, we can even more.
The amount of grants that she has obtained for the city is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It goes up into, I believe, well into the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands. It could be well over 1 million.
Yeah. Well, she helped with the food bank getting their
Everything. She's just, if
grant
there's a
to
fund,
do their
there's
bridge
a
at the
location.
corner.
an amazing grant writer, she's the one.
That's very true.
Yeah, well said. And
and
I do have to go back when everyone's finished reporting.
I'm done.
Anything else? Anyone? No?
My go back is something that that could be on a future agenda, but on this, I have the park information brochure. And looking over it, and, I didn't notice this, in the Parks Master Plan. But I don't know if I have to check the master plan, I don't have it in front of me, if there's anything for Civic Ride Park by Ocean Smith Pool. And, to me, that merits some study from you folks. I mean, what could it be? Could it be an arboretum of trees? What could it be? But it could be something more than just a vacant lot for right now.
We just talked about it last
Talked about a
time.
splash park.
We just did an update on it last time about.
We tried to sell it to the Greater St. Helens Park.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Sorry to bring it up.
We talked about what's in the plan and that it's all phase 3 improvements, and so nothing happening right now, but we would like to see the improvements that are outlined, which is like the splash pad,
Restroom.
future, future.
Sorry I missed last meeting.
No, that's okay.
I know.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Yeah.
Great. Boy, Jerry, I don't know, man.
Wow.
Hey, way to go. Efficient meeting. I wonder who did that.
Amazing.
Before 5 o'clock.
You off for a week?
Hey,
I don't have any visitor comments.
All right.
Yes, but still, I think.
Did you go to Puerto Vallarta?
Meeting or what?
Did you go to Puerto Vallarta again?
Station 15.
Go to Puerto Vallarta.
no, I said we were going to go when you were going to go.
Yeah, we did go.
Kara had an operation. Kara had an operation. We had
85 down there every
It
day.
was a wonderful.
God.
We just sat at the pool, we didn't go anywhere, just that in the swim-up bar.
We down there the same time you
Did
did.
last week?
We down there the same time you did.
We go down there about the same time every year.
Kara had a